Formula One is a beautiful sport. Formula One is a ruthless sport. 20 drivers competing for a title, 10 teams battling for the crown of best constructor. In the end, only one wins. It's essential to start from this basic fact to temper certain judgments when analyzing the course of a championship. The 2024 season delivered a reborn Ferrari, capable of winning 5 races and finishing second in the Constructors Championship, just a hair behind the champion McLaren and quite comfortably ahead of Red Bull, which for years had grown accustomed to showing the rest of the grid the rear end of its cars. This is no small feat, especially considering that Maranello was coming off a season with just one isolated victory and a third-place finish behind a Mercedes team that, despite winning the same number of races this year, was soundly beaten on track. This brief introduction is not meant to be an advertisement for the prancing horse, nor an exaggerated ode in a year where some things did not go as planned. It's simply a way to explain to those fans now eager to find someone to blame that growth processes must include seasons like this. Seasons where long-standing difficulties are overcome and major flaws, while not entirely eliminated, are smoothed out and tackled with renewed vigor. The second year under the leadership of Ferrari Frederic Vasseur has come to an end. The French manager is the man tasked with restructuring Ferrari's racing department, a complex assignment carrying immense responsibility. Yet even here, the trajectory is clear and upward. After a learning year in 2023, Ferrari has consolidated itself and will likely start the 2025 season not as the underdog needing to capitalize on unusual circumstances to win, a role that does not suit Ferrari, but as a team ready to shoulder the responsibility of being one of the favorites. Ferrari lost the championship when it did not think it was in the running at the start of the summer, precisely between the Canadian Grand Prix and the Spanish Grand Prix, when it suffered 2 setbacks that marked this 2024 Formula One season. On the circuit named after Gilles Villeneuve, Ferrari came away with a double 0 points finish after Charles Leclerc's extraordinary victory on the streets of Monte Carlo in the Monaco Grand Prix. At the Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona, the Maranello technicians and engineer introduced a new aerodynamic upgrade package that turned out to be a burden instead of the delight that everyone had expected. The team took so much time to solve the issues that emerged from that upgrade, which in reality acted as a downgrade. It took the entire summer, extra efforts, and it was necessary to redesign and re-engineer crucial elements of the SF24 to address the problems. It was during this period that Ferrari lost precious points, putting itself in a position where it had to recover quickly. Yet, in the end, it was there, ready to take advantage of McLaren's failures. This fact shows that the men and women working in all areas of Ferrari managed to stay on track, as often happened in the past, and to get the project back on course, aiming for something big, convincingly demonstrating that they could compete for that constructor's title that has been missing since the 2008 championship. This trend breaks with the past, when Ferrari would show a depressive streak after encouraging starts. The real triumph is here. This dynamic, with all the nuances, was also seen last year. This is a sign that Frederic Vasseur's approach is beginning to produce visible results, which in the near future could turn into concrete victories. Ferrari has nothing to regret from this season, nor should the fans, who sooner or later will have to learn to unite for the good of the cause instead of competing against each other in public, casting shadows over conspiracies and theories that are pathetically debunked by facts, such as the one claiming that Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz were enemies fighting for different priorities. Unacceptable lies. For 2 world championships, Ferrari has sown, and 2025 seems to be the year of harvest. The 677 project, the code name for the Formula One car whose name will be revealed in February, will be based on solid technical foundations. The whole Maranello team will be driven by a new enthusiasm, and especially by well-oiled operational procedures that have proven effective in competing at the highest levels. This is why one should not be discouraged, why one should not be consumed by regret thinking that they have failed and missed the opportunity of a lifetime. No, Ferrari is on its journey and progressing step by step. This is how winning seasons are built in Formula One. Nothing is improvised, nothing is invented. Work, humility, and method. This is what is needed to win, and the Maranello team has done an excellent job institutionalizing these 3 principles. In the final part of this video, we also want to take a few minutes and point out a special moment that took place in Maranello today. Ferrari bid farewell to Carlos Sainz and his family by organizing a very special morning at the Fiorano circuit. The Spanish driver and his father arrived early on the track that has hosted all Ferrari testing for over half a century, both wearing their suits, gloves, and helmets. In the garage, waiting for them were two F175 cars from 2022. After a quick briefing and warming up the first of the two cars, at 9:45 a.m. 3 years and 324 days after the debut of the Sun on January 27, 2021, Carlos Sainz Sr. made his debut behind the wheel of a Ferrari Formula One car. The rally and rally raid champion had already driven a car from the category, but it had been nearly 20 years ago. Carlos Sr., despite a spin, took relatively little time to get into the rhythm, completing several runs with consistent times. Mid-morning, on the other car, his son also got into the cockpit, returning to the wheel of the car with which he won his first Formula One race, at the 2022 British Grand Prix at the Silverstone circuit. Carlos and Carlos Sr. then returned to the track together for a couple of parade laps. During his time with Ferrari, the Spanish driver has secured 4 victories, 6 pole positions, 25 podiums, and 900.5 points in 4 seasons and 88 races. To finish a very special day at the Fiorano circuit, Carlos Sainz switched from a modern Formula One car to an extraordinary vintage car brought to the track by Ferrari's classic department, a 735 LM that raced in the Mille Miglia, driven by Piero Taruffi, and the 24 Hours of Le Mans, driven by Harry Schell and Maurice Trintignant. The year of manufacture? It had to be 1955, perfectly in tune with the race number of the Spanish driver. The memorable day for the Sainz family at Fiorano concluded with a group photo, which also included team principal Fred Vasseur and Charles Leclerc, who arrived at the track to observe the activities of Carlos' father and son.